Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today we'll be talking about several actually storm threats. They're not major really, to be honest, compared to some of the storms we've seen this year. But that's why I'm not calling it a larger, significant storm in a title. I'm probably going to coin it unique or robust, as that's more appropriate in this case. But the Northeast has a chance, the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, portions of the Upper Plains, and kind of scattered, really depends on which model you look at. So we'll be going over that. If you guys would like to support this channel, liking the video would be awesome, and if you enjoy these type of videos, subscribing to the channel would be awesome as well. Otherwise, let's start talking about this winter storm potential. Alright, so let's begin by looking at the GFS model. The last videos, if you recall, they've been very long. They've been approaching, I think, 1 minute. One video last week was almost 30 minutes. It was ridiculous. Hopefully we don't have that much stuff to cover today, as it really doesn't look as if there's that much activity imminent. So let's quickly take a look at this. So we have that storm system pulling away, the old storm that dropped across Kansas City, Iowa, Chicago, Michigan, into Canada. I do not know how much snow fell across Canada, as the website I'm using here only reports for the United States of America, not Canada. But we could take a look right here. Notice we do have some pretty high amounts, so I'm assuming across the border they're the same, if not higher, probably over a foot of snow, 12 inches in terms of centimeters. That's around 20-25. Notice that there are plenty of 8 to 12 inch ranges. There wasn't a foot yet reported, but it's still snowing there, especially across eastern Maine. So we may get some foot amounts, 1 foot plus. But notice it did get pretty far into Massachusetts. That was one of the models that really only a few showed it going this far to the south. It wasn't significant, right, compared to some of the snowfall they've gotten this year. But it's a nice 1 to 3 inches, and then as you got north, 6 to 10, and possibly even again 12-inch amounts. Michigan mostly 3 to 6 inches, while there were a few outliers. I think there was a 7-inch amount somewhere in here. Again, mainly 3 to 6 inches, with further south lighter amounts. Wisconsin into Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, generally decent amounts, right? Again, some models are showing a heavier event, some models are showing a very light event. It kind of overperformed across southeastern Wisconsin, right here across Milwaukee. They were not expecting, 5 inches. They got a good amount of snow right there. Chicago really got as expected. Again, further away from the lake, there were some 3 to 4 inch amounts, and then closer to the lake, there was 1 to 2 inches. And into western Illinois, eastern Iowa, there were some 4 to 5 inch amounts, and then into Kansas City, these are starting to disappear. But here we have the full storm across the south, and it did definitely overperform across Oklahoma. They have had one heck of a season. Maybe it's a record. I don't know at this point. Yeah, not a record overall, but for January 2nd, if this is the most snow they've ever got in that time frame. Possibly. I mean, they've seen more snow than Chicago and Green Bay probably combined. So, taking a look at the GFS, let's track this out. Notice what we have right now is this little disturbance. It's really weak. There's a lot of dry air kind of surrounding it. It's really struggling, but this will continue to progress propagate, if you will, into Illinois, Indiana, and Michigan. This will continue to drop some light snow amounts. Notice that that leaves a bit of snow into Indiana, Ohio. There could be a bit of mixing going on, as the temperature profiles will be very marginal. It's not cold air. Really, to the south there's warm air, to the north there's warm air. It's just those little pockets surrounding this weak, dying low pressure. Well, it's not going to be dying. It's going to be growing in strength. It's possibly going to kind of produce that nor'easter we talked about. Notice into today, 12 o'clock at night, so midnight into Monday, the January 3rd, start of the new work week, the first work week of the year. Notice the first full work week, January 3rd at 6 a.m., right? So this is 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, 7 a.m. Eastern. We do at that time also have a large system moving on to the northwest, Washington, Oregon, and to Idaho, Montana. A lot of rain, a lot of snow. That has been an ongoing trend. This one goes a bit further to the south into Nevada, Utah, California. Fortunately, doesn't hit southern or central California, but at least it does hit Oregon. There have been many storms that kind of just hit Washington and British Columbia. So at least that's that. It really doesn't do much, seemingly, into the plains as of now, but there's some contradicting model opinions on that. Notice there could even be some impressive snowfall rates with this. It's not going to be a huge event, but I wouldn't say 4 inches is out of the questions across northern central Indiana. Indianapolis could be flirting with a 1 to 2 inch amount. Same with maybe even St. Louis, central Illinois, central Missouri, a bit of snow. But the real deal is right here. Notice we have precipitation. It combines with that little wave that, obviously moves from Indiana, Illinois at around 12 p.m. tomorrow. Notice that Sunday, it's looking pretty dry across much of the central United States. Well, it's really just the coast. The western United States, the northwest really, and southwestern Canada see quite a bit of snow and rain. And then the eastern United States, notice Detroit picks up a bit of snow, maybe Cleveland, though again, that could be a rain-snow situation. I do think, though, however, that the models are overestimating that rainfall right there. But again, the models have been relatively good this year. I can't complain, to be honest. Let's take a look at this. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, right? They are on the border. Some models show more snow, some more rain. Generally, the further north and west you go into upstate Pennsylvania, New York, you will see some snowfall. Again, there's some green showing here. That most likely will be snow. The model is overdoing that. Notice Massachusetts, Connecticut, Vermont, New Hampshire. It shows some decent amounts of snow, and this low pressure definitely does kind of veer off coast just by a bit. And whether or not that sticks around enough to kind of regurgitate, if you will, that's the best way to put it, regurgitate bands of snow onto the United States, will kind of make that difference, or southeastern Canada at this point. Notice that that storm is still going on across the northwest. We do have a bit of a clipper system possibly making its way into Ohio, Michigan. Very light, maybe more of a drizzle event rather than snow. Notice that as we take a look at this is tomorrow, so into Monday. Sorry, earlier I said first work week of the week. I thought tomorrow was Monday for some reason. Tomorrow is Sunday. My days have been a bit messed up. So yeah, I do realize I'll probably get a few comments about that. So now pushing into the first work week, Monday, January 4th. Notice Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, especially New Hampshire coastal areas, see that snow, very light, right? But this is what makes it unique. It's not well developed, but it kind of stays. It doesn't really go anywhere. It starts tracking out and then it stays. January 5th now into January 6th, still snowing. A bit of some like ocean effect, possibly affecting portions of the mid-Atlantic, maybe with some light snow. And then it kind of wraps up. We do see some more snow across the southeastern Canada area. Really, that could be also rain, though, depending on how that unfolds. Notice this is also a thing to watch. Some models this isn't the storm that we're talking about, but I do want to say that some models show a decent amount of snow for really anywhere in here. The range is huge. A lot of kind of models showing their own different methods. And what a lot of models agree on, or a relatively good amount, more than on this central part, is a potential snowstorm of more magnitude than this one we're seeing right now across the coastal area. So that's definitely something to watch. This low pressure into this upcoming weekend really is when the models start showing that. So definitely something to watch for. Let's take a look at the total snowfall till about this Thursday. Notice Maine and into New Hampshire, Vermont, lighter amounts. Maine sees the heaviest into southeastern Canada. This is the GFS. It's not really showing heavy amounts. Other models definitely show more. Notice the Northwest, especially right there, the Cascades, see just an absolute dumping of snow. Maybe even to also the Sierra Nevada, southwestern Canada. The Plains, not much snow, again, other than that system today. And possibly the start of that little system that I circled and said there's a lot of unconfidence about. That one could also be dropping a decent amount of snow. Let's take a look at the Canadian, for example. Canadian snowfall outlook notices much, much more significant across the Northeast. Even to say Boston, New York City would be getting snow out of this, maybe even Long Island, Connecticut. While this is not going to be I wanted to word this in a way, so it's not going to be a major event for Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, or the states of Massachusetts, New York. Maybe, the ranges, I would say, anywhere from 1 to 3 if it kind of underperforms, to maybe up to 7 if it overperforms. But you would not be seeing a foot of snow. The characteristics of the storm are not there. And even if it overperforms, it's just not going to happen. The overperforming would kind of drop a few extra inches. Where it can overperform, and quite significantly, is across Maine and southeastern Canada. You can see the CMC Canadian puts out quite a bit of snow. While I do think this is definitely a bit more on the aggressive side, it's a possibility as much as the GFS scenario is a possibility. Though I would say the GFS is probably closer to reality. Notice that also with that midweek system, notice it drops a bit of snow, and then this is one of the models that takes a nor'easter kind of out of this almost. You can see across the coast area. Some are more impressive with that. Let me show you the MSL precipitation and frozen to play out the storm. So again, we had that today. Decent amounts across Bangor, Augusta, Caribou, and into portions of northern New Hampshire, Vermont. Concord on a rain snow line. They did get a bit of snow, though, as you saw on that snowfall report. It did go a bit further south than expected. So 1 to 2 inches again up until we got to around Montpelier and northwards and northeastwards. So going back to the Canadian, this is what we have that pulls away. We have that little system today. Light snow. Again, there may be even some snowfall rates that are rather impressive out of this system, kind of catch people off guard. Even if it does, 3 inches, no more. But 3 inches is still snow that could cause accidents and all that bad stuff. So this is a Canadian 6-hour. Look at that. It actually develops a nice system into Pennsylvania. Notice into Connecticut to Rhode Island, Massachusetts. There's some decent amount banding of snow. Again, even if this overperforms, that would probably mean maybe the rain snow line shifting a bit further to the south. And really, again, the Canadian shows it as aggressively as any other model shows, pretty much. Or out of all the models, it's one of the more aggressive ones. That's what I meant to say. Notice it does have that clipper into Tuesday, into Monday, Tuesday across the Midwest. That could, again, be more of a drizzle event. But notice, as soon as this seemingly goes away, look what it does. It just sticks around for a while, which is kind of why it's unique, because, this could easily kind of go under the radar. If you were to look at the model like the GFS, you'd be like, that's nothing, just a few inches. But then if something like the Canadian goes accurate, it turns out to be accurate, you could see up to 20 inches. So that range is huge, and it's kind of uncomfortable. But at this point, the National Weather Service is saying that moderate to heavy snow is possible, and they have to monitor it. Notice Iowa, Illinois, with that midweek system. That's a potential we'll have to watch for as well. Again, not all models show this. The Canadian, again, being one of the more aggressive ones with this system. And then tracking a nor'easter type, which actually quite a few models show that. So that's definitely interesting or exciting or not exciting, depending on who you are. Obviously, let's take a look at the Icon model. So this is a German model that I've started to show in my videos, as I just want to show as many models as possible. Notice it has that system pulling away, right? We have that system today, really into tonight. Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, Detroit, seeing some snow again, 1 to 2 inches, 1 to 3, maybe even 4-inch amount possible across central Indiana, or really northern Indiana, where some of the heavier snowbands may set up. It's kind of a little system that seems very weak and measly. You could actually, drop, it's a better word, drop a few inches of snow more than expected. Notice that the German does develop this system, right? Kind of strong. It's not as good as the Canadian, but it's not as weak as a GFS. Notice Boston gets some snow out of this, Worcester, southern New York, Connecticut to Rhode Island, Hartford, Providence, into Scranton, maybe Reading, Pennsylvania, seeing some of those mountains. Philadelphia, southern New Jersey, not really seeing anything out of this. And then notice it also does that thing, the German model, that it regurgitates that snow at a pretty strong rate. Notice this is January 5th, Tuesday, and it's still snowing across Maine, and it continues snowing. And the Icon model also is showing this system right here beginning to take that northeastward turn, or at least it's slowing down, which would indicate it's changing directions, which could be again a indicator of that nor'easter potential. Total snowfall, obviously the heaviest amounts across Maine, up to a foot. It shows maybe up to 7-8 inches widespread. Lighter amounts further south, right, but again, that could quickly be a bit more or less. Generally though, 3 to 6 inches is still a decent event, especially since there hasn't been that much snow in terms of frequency. There has been that one big one right in early December, and it dropped. Still, New York City is running above average just because of that one system, and so is Boston. Boston had a few more, but taking a look at some of the high-res models, the NAM 12KM is generally a model I like to look at. Notice it shows, again, 1 to 3 inches for the first event tonight. Then it shows, again, 3 to 5, a bit heavier into tomorrow night, but it really doesn't show a lot across Maine, more into Atlantic Canada, and again, quite a bit across the Northwest. And this is just 84 hours out through 6 a.m. Or 12 a.m. Tuesday. So, or Wednesday at that point. So notice, let's take a look at this RGEM. RGEM is another high-res model, kind of competes with the NAM, if you will. Decent amounts, right? It shows decent amounts across the Dakotas. That could be to do with that starting of that new system that's, again, could be a potential nor'easter further on. Then we have the Northwest, Southwest, seeing that heavy precipitation mainly in the next 48 hours. You can see that it really doesn't add on much in the longer range. Again, the coastal areas may be more into Canada with the RGEM. The high res, again, not too not too easily showing that snow across the the Northeast. But again, just a little bit of a deviance of that track, and I could push a lot of these amounts even into portions of New Hampshire and Maine. So definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on for sure. Not let it get under the radar. So that's the RGEM. I showed you the NAM model. Her model goes out to 48 hours, but that model run is a bit old. But regardless, I'll show it to you. This is what it shows in terms of snowfall. Notice decent amounts here, quite a bit across the Northwest, and really not bad amounts across Pennsylvania, even some isolated half-foot amounts. And it does keep the system relatively close on shore, close enough to where Boston, New Hampshire, Maine could be seeing a bit more of that snow, more aggressive scenario. And see if this hugs the coast, say even like the Icon model shows or the Canadian, it could be a significant event. But if it goes something like a GFS, people would be like, oh, what is this? How's this even a snowstorm? So it's one of these situations that's kind of bad because usually when you tell people, oh, it's a snowstorm, but it's going to be a significant one or a less significant one. In this case, it's more of a snow shower versus a snowstorm. It's a wide range, and that can be more dangerous as people are more unprepared. And as forecasters, the National Weather Service has a hard time to tell, okay, so do we say it's going to be potentially significant and scare people, and then they accuse us of overhyping it, or do we say this is small and then people get mad at us when it overperforms? So they're going the medium route. They're saying, of course, there's a chance for snow, and it's still in the making. They're more confident across Pennsylvania and New York. That's why there are winter weather advisories. I do want to say quickly that across the Northwest, notice we have a band moving in right now across the Northwest, right? That will come through, and really nothing will come of that. But there's a second one that start coming through, right? And that one could go further into the south, into the Sierra, into Central California. So that's good if there are any wildfires across Northern California. I know there's quite a few further south. I'm sure they may be further to the north, but they have been getting more rainfall for sure. Notice again, that system looking impressive if that's what the HER model, if it's accurate in that measurement. The RAP model goes out to 39 hours, and this is actually the newest model run it just put out, so perfect timing. Notice there's that northwestern system, Oregon, Washington, mostly rain for the lower elevations, snow for the higher. The RAP does not really want to show that band of snow across the Midwest today at all. Again, I think it will be more impressive as most models show higher amounts, and the National Weather Service is showing higher. So this model may be underrepresenting a lot of this. Still shows snow into Pennsylvania, New York, and starts again congregating some decent banding that could fall pretty heavily. And then it does that thing. So notice that's further off coast than what the HER model does. But again, the Canadian takes it out to almost over here and then kind of tracks it back on. So that could still potentially be a snowy scenario, just too far out at this point. But again, we'll have to watch for that. That's why it's kind of coined a unique system. The European model, I want to show you this one, last model. Notice that, so we have that one pulling away. We have that light snow today. The Northwest seeing that heavy snow into British Columbia. Then this system does end up getting pretty strong, stronger than a GFS or any of the high-res models show. Not as strong as a Canadian for the European. And then notice, it takes it pretty far off coast, seeming, oh, it's a goner, but it takes it back onto the shore. Again, onto Maine, southern Canada, but if this just extends further to the south and west, this could affect portions of Massachusetts, more of New Hampshire, maybe even Connecticut, Rhode Island. So, and then notice that the potential nor'easter system, the Canadian takes it, the European takes it very far to the south, and so far to the south that it doesn't even bring any nor'easter chance. It does develop a system, but quite a bit off coast. So that is that with the European. Let's take a quick glance at its total snowfall accumulations. In terms of total snowfall, this is what it shows. Notice decent amounts for sure. And with that regurgitation of snow, we have up to 12 to 18 inches according to this model, assuming a 10-to-1 ratio, which is probably pretty accurate for this. Again, 1 to 3 inches with this event across the Midwest tonight. That could end up bidding a bit more across isolated locations, maybe up to 4, as this will most likely be a predominantly snow event. Though again, towards the south, there could be some mixing across Ohio. Notice though, Pennsylvania 6-7 inches. New York City actually potentially seeing 3 to 4, but it's a quick, sharp cutoff. So don't be surprised if northern New York City is seeing more than southern New York City. More meaning quite a bit more. You could go from 0 to 4 inches. And then the Northwest obviously seeing good amounts here in Nevada, and then that weekend system, or the midweek system. the midweek system doesn't do much, and it takes it again very far to the south, versus the Canadian that drops heavy snow across Iowa and Illinois and Missouri, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Indiana, the Midwest, in other words. All right, so that's basically it for today's video, guys. Today's video, I am slurring my words for some reason. My mouth is a bit dry. I do want to say that for the National Weather, or for detailed information, go to the National Weather Service, as they have, again, winter storm warnings up. That's still for this event going on right now. And then winter weather advisories for tomorrow's event. Again, if I were to look at this, they say here are the amounts you can see right there. Again, 3 to 6 inches is likely. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you all guys on the next episode. See ya. Bye.